All right, everybody, welcome in to the Jump to Start Racing podcast. My name is Wellington. I'm here with two of my closest friends. Ruben, say hello.
What's going on, guys?
Yhancy.
Hi.
Hi.
Very shy, hi. Today we'll be
still
talking...
sleeping?
What?
I'm sorry. Are you still sleeping?
No. Today we'll be talking about the Styrian Grand Prix and also touching base on some of the latest news throughout the F1 world.
Yo, what the hell, bro? Let him start, man.
Okay. Go ahead, Wellington. I'm sorry.
Didn't even take long this time. Didn't even take long. You guys are so good at...
What's up, guys?
Yeah, so
What's going on?
outside of the podcast, we are, I guess, unfortunately, friends. So we hung out on Saturday night, and they literally were talking, oh, yeah, our favorite part is when we're joking around and Wellington gets all upset because we're distracting.
You mean you don't enjoy that?
No.
Oh, I thought it was on an act.
No.
Listen,
definitely.
I enjoy it, so I'm going to keep doing it.
So like I said, we'll be talking about some news, the Styrian Grand Prix review, and a little bit of a preview for the Austrian Grand Prix. Very little, because it's the same track as yesterday's race. So, starting off, well, how are you guys?
Good.
Happy Monday.
Yes.
Happy Monday is right.
Yeah, we have another
Race week.
or raw week?
Rossiek.
Rossiek?
What does that mean?
Oh, God. Damn, you're out of touch, bro.
Yeah.
You need to get on social media a little bit more often.
My bad.
So, let's get back into it. The Trackmania, we'll call this section. A lot of upcoming track changes and
It's a lot.
additions to the calendar and moving Grand Prix. So let's start with the first one that came out, Abu Dhabi. Track changes aimed at improving overtaking at Abu Dhabi's Yas Marina circuit. I am not all that excited, but what we're going to get is we're eliminating the chicane and widening the hairpin at turn 7, removing 4 sharp corners at turn 11, 12, 13, and 14. They're going to be replaced by 1 long bank turn and opening up the radius of 4 corners, turns 17, 18, 19, and 20 to create a faster flowing section of the track.
And why are you not excited?
Because it's just it's been a historically boring race.
Yeah, but that's the reason why it's been a historically boring race.
You think those small changes will make the big
Small
difference?
change.
That's not a small change. That seems like a lot. Listen, you're removing that chicane, which you have it's going into kind of like a hairpin, but it's a faster hairpin than most going into the straight. So you have more speed going into that corner. And then you're eliminating most of the 90-degree turns that we all hate. The only ones we like are probably the ones in Baku. But Baku's long enough track where it has other sections where you can get better
Make
racing.
up for it.
But since you have that bank turn, and then after that bank turn, it's mostly 90-degree corners going into that was sector 3. If you round those corners, and that means the cars can go faster, probably have a better chance at overtaking. So I think these are very good changes, and I can't wait to see it. And the beauty about this is that usually we get this news and we have to wait till next year. It's going to happen this season at the end of the year. So we should have finally, hopefully, a good race, a good last race of the season.
Okay.
So, yeah, this track the changes might maybe keep me awake. From
Yeah,
but
it's
the thing about the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, whatever, it's because it's the last race, and I don't know. Besides, was that 2016 when Nico Rosberg won?
Mm-hmm.
It's the only time that if something happened in the race, it could affect the championship. So far, I think that we've seen it. Every time we go there, Lewis has already won.
But that's not necessarily why you want a race
but
to be
it keeps
good.
it keeps away some of the excitement of the race. Because, for example, it's the last race and the champion is already won, and then on top of that, it's a boring race.
But I'll give you this, right?
That's
but
true.
Usually, you got a good point, but usually, for example, let's say Brazil, which is usually the second to last race at Interlagos, usually the championship was already won by then. But it's still a fun race.
Yes.
Because it's a competitive race.
Yes. There's still things in the air in that point. I understand.
Exactly. So this is maybe going into Abu Dhabi, the championship's already won. But at the very least, you don't got a snooze fest to end the season.
No, yeah,
It'll be at least
I'm up for the change.
Besides the championship, just within that race, at least we can have a little bit of fun if the cars have a chance to overtake or follow each other.
They will.
Yeah.
I disagree. I don't know. Okay, fine.
So say your point.
No. It's
Why is it that why?
well, I don't know. I feel like we tried something in Barcelona. Granted, it was it Barcelona to a much less extent.
It was only one turn in Barcelona.
It just
Yeah, there's like 6 turns taken.
All right. Okay, I'll concede. Hopefully, it turns out good. It'll only benefit us and me if it turns out to be a good situation.
Take note.
Yeah. I concede. The Turkish Grand Prix is back on the calendar. It is scheduled for October 3rd, replacing the Singapore Grand Prix. Singapore.
It sucks.
Yeah. Lewis Hamilton won it last year in the rain. We're happy it's back, right? It's a great track.
No, I say it sucks not because the race sucked. No, we got a good race, from it last year.
Mm-hmm.
I say it sucked because it took away the chances of having, to Austin.
You took away my point.
Okay, my bad.
So it took away the chances of
No,
having
you didn't tell me that before, but that's exactly what I was thinking.
2 races at Austin.
At Austin, yeah. I mean,
We were looking forward to a little bit. We were in doubt, throwing it back and forth. Are we going to take 2 weeks to go? Are we going to take 10 days to go? What are we doing?
yeah, I don't think anyone is upset that Turkey is on the calendar. It was a fun track. It was a good race.
Except us, the U.S. fans.
But we would have liked 2 races in Austin because then we can spend 10 days in Austin if we wanted.
Jeez.
If we had the chance. If we make the effort to do that, we can do that. But it's still possible, though. You never know.
To have 2 races in us?
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. Well, there was news that they are going to, they're looking to let more fans
At Austin.
at Austin. 20,000 more fans are looking to do that. So that seems like a positive outlook on things. I want to go.
Yeah, very exciting. Speaking of exciting, getting rid of something that was boring, the Russian Grand Prix is set to move from Sochi.
Perfect segue.
You lost it.
Yeah.
But give him the applause.
It was set to move from Sochi to Igora Drive in Russia over by St. Petersburg. The track layout looks a lot better than
Is this on a 16 track already?
I'm sorry?
Is this on a 16 track?
No, it was built. They started construction in 2017. It was completed 2 years later. It just got F1
Gotcha, okay.
FIA certification. It's by our boy Herman Telka.
Yeah.
So we know.
The man.
Well, yeah, he is the guy. So, he designed the turkey.
When is
he
the
designed
contract
Coda.
expiring?
I don't know.
Right? When is his contract expiring?
You want his job, right?
Some designer got to come up with something different than 90 degrees.
Well, I mean, that's the benefit of this track. It doesn't look like it has a lot of 90 degrees turns. It gets rid of that aspect of Sochi.
Yeah, it looks like a very flowy, what we call flowy track. It is 4.06 kilometers long, has 15 corners, and it just got its FIA 1 grade last year in 2019, after opening in 2019. So,
Last
go.
year.
So it is confirmed to take place. What was it? Domenicali had said specifically, I am pleased to confirm that the Formula One Russian Grand Prix from 2023 will be held at Igora Drive. So we have to still suffer 1 more year of Sochi before we get out.
and then we're off to St. Petersburg because that's where it is. It's
2
right
more years.
outside,
You're right.
yeah.
2021
Hasn't
and
happened.
22.
Yeah.
The only person that's going to be real sad about it is Valtteri Bottas.
We love Sochi.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. But I think this one, it will lend it looks like it will lend itself to better racing than at Sochi.
I think it's actually easier to get to. I think St. Petersburg is it's a more international city.
Yeah, it's
Sochi was the place that hosted the Winter Olympics.
well, this falls in line with what F1 has aimed to do, is that make make the races a
Great again.
now make the races in destination cities. So St. Petersburg is obviously one of the biggest cities, or
The fans.
the biggest cities in Russia. So it'll make it a lot easier to get to, and you can also have a lot of locals coming to the races as well. So I'm excited for that. It looks like a cool track.
Yeah.
Better than Sochi.
Yeah. Okay, so that completes the Track Mania portion of the news, and coming up next
Did you come up
is
with that name?
what's up?
Did you come up with that name?
Yeah, bro.
Very,
You know it.
very original.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, damn it.
The Pirelli announced that they're going to be making tire changes, I guess, to the they're reinforcing the sidewall of the tires while also maintaining the same tire profile. That's going to be starting from the British GP on, kind of to counteract what happened at Baku with Max and with Lance Stroll. So we've seen that the British Grand Prix tends to have a lot of tire wear. We've seen a lot of tire accidents at the British Grand Prix.
Is it going to be just for the British Grand Prix?
No, going forward from
Going
there.
forward? Oh, okay. Okay.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously done for safety reasons. Even though I find it funny because Pirelli obviously blamed the teams, and now they're changing the construction. So who's really to blame? But yeah, anything we see a lot of tire blowouts at Silverstone. Not even last year that happened.
Lewis Vincent.
Yeah, but it's also happened in previous years as well. And that because it's a fast track, you have a lot of load going through the corners. There's a lot of fast corners at Silverstone, so it makes sense to reinforce the tires to make sure that you don't get these crazy blowouts and you get a crazy accident. Because if I'm not mistaken, also Kvyat had a big moment. I don't know if it was in qualifying or in one of the practices where he stepped out and he had a big tire blowout. He said it was like a lot of when he was racing for AlphaTauri. It was a lot of factors going into it, but part of the reason was the tire. So it happens a lot at Silverstone.
I don't think it was Silverstone. I think it was Sochi.
No, I was at Silverstone.
Okay, I'll double check that.
Yeah, it was at Silverstone.
I gotta make sure I gotta double check.
I don't trust Ruben's fact check.
Yep.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, but I mean, especially after what happened with Lance Stroll and
Yeah, that was bad this year.
and Max Verstappen at Baku, I think it's a good idea that they do that. So.
But all that's gonna change next year anyway. So they're gonna be better monitoring the tires with the tire pressure sensor and stuff like that. They're gonna have. So
Yeah,
hopefully some of these things are gonna start getting
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they don't have standard tire pressures already. I think that would be something that Pirelli and the FIA would be on top of. I don't know why they do that, but
Well, they do.
well, no, they do it
They
at
have
the beginning of the
parameter,
yeah, but they do it at the
reasonable
beginning of but they don't have a sensor. It's like, for example, we drive a road car now. We can tell on the screen of our car what our tire pressures are.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they have that in F1? I mean, it doesn't just make any sense. But
Part of a racing game.
yeah, whatever. But good. I mean, it's good that it's happening.
Pirelli blamed the teams. They're doing something about it because they don't want the fingers pointed back at them again. No, we reinforce it. You guys keep playing with it.
That's true. Yeah. Even though they blame the teams.
Yeah. No, they will.
They always do anyways.
Big deal or not a big deal? Not a big deal, right?
No, it's not a big deal. I don't think it's going to... I mean, the
Same tire profile.
same tire profile. It's not going to change the
So
performance
somebody
of
at
the tire.
Pirelli is going to be like
We just won't have blowouts, which I think we can all agree that we don't want that.
Well, we won't have blowouts in the same fashion that they happened in Baku.
Yes, because you don't...
They're making the sidewall stronger.
Yeah, you don't want to have a car, heading down the straight at 300 kilometers or 200 miles per hour, and then all of a sudden everything...
Can we see the video though from Pirelli of making the sidewall stronger? You know, have like the guy like a soul bathe, but instead of soul throwing rubber.
Rubber? I don't think that's how they're made, Ruben.
They're adding a little more rubber.
You know what? You should do a video like that.
Nah. I'm not even gonna do it again because bullets are gonna catch me.
I'll get you the Salt Bay wig.
The soul bathe and the glasses. Too.
Yeah, and the glasses. And I'll bring you a little bit of rubber beads and you start doing that on a tire. We should do that.
Well, does not condone that.
He's so frustrated. Carry on.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. All right. So along the lines of tires and pit stops, the FIA has, I guess, mandated to slow down the Formula One pit stops from the Hungarian Grand Prix going forward. So, Yhancy, walk us through this news here a bit.
Okay, so what is happening here? Basically, what's happening now is that you're not supposed to have automated systems within the pit stop. So a lot of these teams now have, when they screw in the...
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Check this out.
What?
When they screw in the nut, they have a sensor that sends a signal automatically to the light so it can turn green. Also, the top teams, the one that can afford this, also when that gun sends a signal where all the tires are on, also sends some of them have jacks where the jack just automatically just goes down. So you can deploy it, right? And then it just goes down and they pull it out. Not all teams have it, some teams do. Now,
So when you say top team, you say what, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes?
yeah, the ones that have the most money, basically. I don't know what specific teams.
Yeah,
I just
we don't know the right name.
heard about that. But what they're trying to do is that the reason why the pit stops have gotten so quick is that they don't allow for natural human reaction time to actually check if the bolt is on right, or give them time to signal to the front where they can turn the light green. So now they're building in tolerances. So for example, it's 0.15 seconds for wheel nuts to be observed to be tight. And they have 0.2 seconds from the jacks going down of the driver to receive the go signal. So you have to have that minimum amount of time, which I guess they can look at high-speed cameras to monitor this, to see and time it. They do that in NASCAR now too, by the way. So I don't know how they're going to police this, but that's the reason. They're saying that it's too quick, it's not safe, they don't have enough time to check if everything is put on right. So that's why they're introducing the technical directive.
So that 0.1 seconds is going to make all this. Or it was a 0.1 from when they get the signal.
0.15 from where they can see that the wheel nut is put on correctly. And then they have 0.2 seconds from the jacks going down to where one of the pit crew can tell them, yo, it's good to go.
Gotcha.
Those are the minimum times.
So they're bringing a more human aspect into
Yeah, they just want to make sure that there's
humanize it more.
that the human reaction times are correct. But they also
So
do
to also
this,
have room for mistakes and
yeah,
cause
but
changes
they
in the
also do
race.
that for the start of the race too. But they don't publicize that figure for the start of the race because they're afraid that teams will time it and they'll take advantage of that. So, I mean, it's a lot of technical stuff, but I guess it makes sense. I don't know if you guys have any opinion on that.
It's just, to me, I'm like, what?
I think
Like it's
right.
it's like what?
I think it's so amazing that the pit stops are that fast that
No,
they have
yeah.
to bring it down.
When
you can break down a pit stop by sequences of what happens is pretty amazing.
no people
Considering
people
that
don't
we're
watch
talking
F1,
about 2-second stops.
people that don't watch F1, they get amazed when they see the speed of
For the first time, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I watched it the first time.
Sometimes they even tell you, just put it again. Like, no, you just missed it. Like, no, I haven't.
How are you guys amazed? That's the service at Wheel and Tire Depot, no? No.
Yeah. Go ahead. But yeah, so obviously, because remember, a lot of people are in Formula One. It's like freaking 26 guys that freaking jump on the car. In NASCAR, it's like 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because it's just
Right, and IndyCar, they're like running around the car.
I have to I think saying like 4 on. There's more people on the team, but it's only like a certain amount that could go on the actual pit to do work.
Right.
So it's just,
IndyCar, they throw the guns. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't break. But it's just, I mean, the fact that they're able to break it down is pretty amazing. And I guess if it makes it safer, let's go ahead and do it. I mean, I don't think we'll see any tangible changes.
no, you will. You
the
will
pit
eventually
stop.
because it's bringing the human error into aspect now.
Oh, true.
It will eventually, 'cause as things start to get called on. Hey, maybe they're probably going to get penalized at first, but they're going to say, hey, you better watch your timing with this because we saw this. And then it's going to start getting police, and then they'll have to go away with it and go back to more human aspect of it. I think it will eventually add a little more time in the pits, and that also could change the result of the race as a whole, because now people are bound to make mistakes now. Not computers.
All right. And the last piece of news, not even news. It was just so funny to see Guenther Steiner hand Mazespin a nice little top. Nikita Mazepin. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call him Mazespin, but it was a funny social media moment. We'll link it in the show notes.
That was hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought Mazepin's reaction was great.
From being that the top dog is calling into the office, you at least you're gonna know, oh crap, what did I do now?
Did it make you like Mazepin a little bit more? Or
a little bit, yeah. And made me like...
I thought it made him a little bit more human.
I'm still wondering if he's... I'm still...
Humanized him.
Stuck him saying that he's a robot, but yeah.
Egghead robot.
Yeah, he's... I don't know. It was actually a pretty cool moment.
It was.
And he took it in stride. I think he's definitely had it rough from the fans. So we'll see.
Okay.
Tell me about it. All right, so let's jump into it. Our race review.
Gentlemen, a short view back to the past.
We should put some music to that.
Yeah, we should.
Yo, you know what? Remember in the Gun 6 second? When they're playing they're about to go, supposed to start getting ready to steal the cars. Like that type of thing. That's why I went like this. Like,
well, like 80s montage music or something like that.
Don't call me all again.
Tiger.
Don't call me all again.
Here we go. All right, so even before, we'll talk about that later, but just qualifying just real quick, Esteban Ocon just completely lost. What happened to his pace?
He got money in the bank.
It's weighing him down. His wallet is weighing him down.
His wallet is weighing him down.
Yeah, he got a lot of money now.
He brings his wallet onto...
There you go, yeah.
I mean, with that much money, I wouldn't leave it out, right?
I guess,
keep it with
exactly. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. It seems he signed his contract and he hasn't been anywhere. After he started so good,
and they turned on the fire on him.
And then on top of that, Alonso's doing a lot better. So
hell yeah,
pressure's on.
George. Well, it's one of those things we could talk about later. But George Russell, Mr. Saturday, back at it again. That was pretty much it. We'll talk about the rest of the qualifying action during the race review here. So the race itself, the front of the pack, obviously we had, at the end of the race, we had Max Verstappen winning. We had Lewis Hamilton in second place, and we had Valtteri Bottas in third. But it didn't really, leading into it, it didn't really seem, other than Max Verstappen running away with the race, right? It was a little more dramatic than what it presents itself as the podium.
Yeah, I mean, for it to be the usual podium that we usually get, which is Verstappen, Hamilton, and Bottas on the podium, this felt different. It felt very different because obviously Max Verstappen won the race, but this one was more like what we're used to seeing from Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
It was a dominant win by Red Bull and Verstappen.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Literally nothing in the air of suspicious that happened. No, we won.
Yeah, and then it seemed like Mercedes, even though they got a second and third, were almost helpless and just couldn't catch Red Bull. So it was, I don't know. I'm hoping that it's not like this for the rest of the season, because then we're going to get more of the same, just a different team.
Yeah.
But we finally have a team that we can legit say, after 7 races in, they're eight races in, they're a legit contender, and they definitely can beat Mercedes. It's not on the line like, oh, maybe they can. No, they can definitely beat Mercedes. And the fact that they are developing the car more than Mercedes is. You know, Toto Wolff came out after the race saying that they stopped development of the car, which I don't know if
I don't believe it.
I find that hard to believe.
What I take that as is they stopped it and they're restarting it. They stopped it for like yesterday. Oh, we had to go home and we stopped.
Yeah, I mean,
when they clocked out.
Yeah.
It's not like the lead in the championship is insurmountable and it's only 8 races
Right.
in. 8 out of 23 races on
Right.
top of that. So I don't know if if it's gamesmanship or if it's true, but I find it hard to believe that Mercedes is not going to make a run for it or they're just going to stop. What do you think, Ruben?
No, what I think is, I think I said this briefly to you guys when we were watching the race. The tables have turned. Before it was Red Bull trying to play catch up to Mercedes. It's now Mercedes being forced to play catch up. So they probably have their hands all the way up, saying, "What the hell did we miss? Like, how did we lose so much pace?" Let's say for example they did stop developing the car. You better call everybody. They better start doing overtime. We got to get a crap on.
Yeah, but then the issue is, obviously, it's a cost cap, and what it seems to me is that Mercedes is thinking more long term because obviously we have
But you're gonna lose this year, and then
but
what you've been building all this year.
But you have rule changes that go on for the next few years after that.
So you're saying Red Bull's playing the short game by sticking so much money into this engine that this car that we're gonna lose in a couple of races?
I don't think they're playing the short game. I just think that Red Bull has a better. Remember, this car carries over from last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Red Bull is a team that is notoriously a slow starter as far as like car development. And then by the end of the year, they're actually pretty good. So if you have a car that you carry on from the previous year before, that means that not only do they have an entire year to develop the car, but now they're not starting off on the back foot.
Gotcha.
So,
where Mercedes is.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing to note is that this is the year where they introduce the
Tokens.
Huh?
The tokens?
No, not the tokens. The time in the wind tunnel. So there's a handicap.
Gotcha.
So I believe, right now, Red Bull has more wind tunnel time than Mercedes.
Because of the championship.
Positions. Now, going into the second half of the year, that switches according to championship order. So in the second half of the year, Mercedes is going to have a little bit more time in the wind tunnel than Red Bull is, because Red Bull will be leading the championship.
So it's based that tight.
Yeah, because there's
not what you did probably previous year.
No, it's they're gonna change it in the middle of the year.
Jeez.
So
I mean,
I don't right now I don't know if it's Red Bull taking advantage, but they're also using resources and spending money on updating the car. At what point do they stop developing this car and start?
They're out of money
next year. Yeah, but they have to develop next year's car too.
Gotcha. No, I'm saying as far as like the budget from this year, you're putting money into
as
this
opposed to what Mercedes is doing, according to Total Wolff, is that they want to focus their resources on building next year's car, which is totally different, instead of spending so much time on this car, which by the end of this year is just it's not worth it. But they're also championship contenders. They're Mercedes. They're not just gonna. And it's Lewis Hamilton. They're just not going to stop fighting. I find it hard to believe.
This weekend they didn't. But yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, they got punched in the face. So, what does Mike Tyson say?
Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Now it's time to react, see what happens.
Absolutely.
And again, we all know that Mercedes, and especially Hamilton, as the season goes on, especially after the summer break, which is coming up soon, they get stronger. So we'll see what happens.
So I think it's a function of exactly what you mentioned. That car, they just kept developing it, the Red Bull car. I think that Red Bull just they're just doing the regular thing that they've been doing every year. Just continue to update the car. And Mercedes had to, I think we talked about it last time, that they had to modify their car right from the beginning because of the rake concept that they were running versus what Red Bull was running with the aero changes. The cost cap is also a factor, right? I think I had the numbers.
And Mercedes also started the season off on the back foot as far as with the rake concept.
So the cost cap includes salaries, right?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't include driver salaries? I thought it did.
No, I think there's a
it
limit on the driver's salary. Once you go over, that
I
comes
think
up.
they were still
it comes out of your-
negotiating, but I think it's just
Okay.
No, I'm saying it's like it includes driver's salary once it passes like 30 million or something like that. And then it,
Total.
yeah, once the driver's salary passes 30 million, it comes out.
Okay.
The amount passed comes out of your cap as well.
Lewis Hamilton, 30 million. Valtteri Bottas, 10 million. So that's 40.
No, I don't know if it's per driver the 30 million limit or both combined. So I don't know.
I don't think that the driver's salary is included. I think it's just the development and just the team.
Okay.
So
Well, no, I'm saying once you go over the 30 million limit, whatever is over the 30 million limit, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's for both drivers or per driver. So, for example, in Lewis Hamilton's case, 30 million, he's at the limit.
yeah.
If he was to get 35, those extra 5 millions comes out of their budget.
Okay.
So it probably makes more sense to be combined than anything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, but like I was saying, Red Bull's just pouring money into the car. They're pouring the development time, like Yhancy said, into the aero. And it's just what they've been doing this whole time.
They brought a big change to the diffuser. Like I said, I think that's why you see that Red Bull has been pulling away from Mercedes race by race. You see it like the gap getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Is because they've been able to develop the car more.
Yeah.
And
And it's showing.
yeah, and then any improvements that Mercedes has made is due to setup and tweaking what they have now, but they haven't brought any new parts in. And you hear Lewis after the race and after the post race interviews saying that it would be nice that if they brought new bits to the car as they usually do, but I mean there's no plans for it at the moment. He said that. So, and I'm paraphrasing, but that's technically the gist. So we'll see. I mean, but if Red Bull is this far ahead, do you think Mercedes sticks to their original plan, or they start bringing in new?
But they're
bits
not.
to the car?
They're not far ahead though. Like if you want to talk drivers, or I'm sorry, constructors championship standings, they're only up by 40 points. Right. That's a double DNF, and then.
Right.
And we haven't seen that side of Red Bull yet.
We haven't seen that side of Red Bull yet, which it happens. One thing that we didn't talk about though is, okay, so we had the podium finishers, right? And we're talking about that gap between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. We saw Valtteri Bottas barely hold on to the lead after Perez had done his second pit stop during the race. He actually did his second pit stop, lap 54 of 71, and started charging through the field, and almost caught Bottas at the end.
Made up all that time.
Yeah, and in fact, I think during the broadcast, they had a graphic saying, it was like lap 60 or something like that he would catch Bottas in 7 laps, and that the overtake difficulty was like the bare minimum.
Two little dots.
Two little dots.
Oh man, they keep playing Bottas.
No, it's like what we were saying yesterday when watching the race. Have they said that Valtteri is fighting with anyone?
No, I mean, listen.
They never. When's the last time they said that?
He did
Or
have
scrapping with anyone.
He did have a better race here than he has had the past few races. He was a little bit more aggressive, but also remember that Perez could have easily gone on the podium if it wasn't for the pit stop for Perez, which he lost like 2 seconds to. So it was like a 4-second pit stop.
Mm-hmm.
But
so imagine, I mean, at the end of the race, what difference would that have
But
made?
that pit stop was to go in the harsh, right? That was his first pit stop. Was what the pit
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to discount that, but I also want to call into the fact something we didn't talk about during practice. Valtteri Bottas spins out literally in the pit lane. The McLaren team had to help push him back out, and there was like the radio sounded like the world was pretty much ending.
Yeah, like Total Wolf said,
Armageddon.
I have yet to see. I haven't seen that video yet. I have to see it.
No, you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
So there's that. He ends up getting a 3 grid place penalty. He goes from 2nd down to 5th.
And he made up those.
He made up those spots, which we always complain about Valtteri Bottas not being able to make those spots.
Yeah, He drove better.
He likes this track. He's historically been pretty good on this track.
Yeah, he drove better.
So what? He passed Norris that had no pace. To be
Had
at the
no
front.
pace, okay.
To be at the front, had no race pace. Okay,
Don't
and
insult the McLaren
he passed Paris that had a big mistake in the pits. What did he do?
Ooh, damn. Being harsh.
He did not get to second where he qualified at.
Duh.
He's gone.
No, yeah, I know that. Come on, I'm the biggest
I want him gone.
proponent of.
You want Russell in the seat?
Yeah.
You know that they asked Lewis about that. I think it was the pre-race. And
What did he say?
he said no, that Valtteri has probably been the best teammate that he's had. The team
course
is
he's gonna say
the team
The
is
best fans,
obviously is very harmonious and everybody's happy and they've won a few championships. So he would like to obviously would like for Valtteri to stay. They asked him about Russell. He said he's not my teammate. There's no reason to comment right now.
Boom. So he doesn't want him.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I've always said this. If, I don't see. I don't see a good ending to putting in Russell
It's not.
in the second seat next to Hamilton. I think eventually at first it'll be fine, but then it'll rear its ugly head.
Yep.
A la like Leclerc and Vettel when
Think it will
Leclerc
be worse
came
than
in. Yeah, so
I don't think it'll be full like Rosberg levels.
No, not at that level. But
it'll be uncomfortable.
it'll be high tension.
Yeah, it'll be.
You know what? Speaking of Russell, George Russell, kind of a really good drive this whole weekend. We mentioned that he missed out on Q3 by 0.008 seconds. He was in a pack. There was a battle for seventh between like
5 guys.
burgers and fries. 5 guys, burgers and fries.
DRS trend.
Yeah, it was.
Alonso, Sainz. I'm just guessing. Alonso, Sainz. I'm going out of the top of my head on it.
Oh my God. It was Alonso, Sainz, I think
Stroll
Lance
too?
Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda were fighting with George Russell to be able to get into 7th place.
He was running 8th.
He was running 8th,
Mm-hmm.
gaining on, I believe it was Sainz. Alonso, that was in 7th?
Alonso was 7.
His best drive to date, aside from Scuderia Grand Prix, when he was in a different car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I think
And then tragedy struck. He went to pit and just got stuck there for, I forget how long.
well, the reason why that happened
was
was
losing.
because they were losing.
Some
I think it was
pressure.
hydraulic pressure.
Yep.
So what was happening? I think how many times did he stop?
Twice.
Twice.
Stopped
in a row.
twice. So every time they stopped him, they had to
fill the
fill up the hydraulic pressure, and it was just taking too long.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a tire issue; it was that they were just waiting for that thing to fill up to top out.
In the post race, interviews they were doing, the kid this guy that works for that drives for Haas, so the research driver Prieto Fittipaldi.
Yep.
He said that was similar that happened to him in Sakir. Like he's like, oh, you don't want to be in that because you have to constantly keep stopping, and these guys have to constantly come and refill that bottle.
That's
Right.
what happened to Fittipaldi in Scuderia.
Yes.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
the-
So I mean, that's why they eventually, they originally, I think they told them over the radio, go as fast as you can because you're gonna have to stop anyways. They figured if they put on their fresh tires and he just
He'll make up the
pushes,
time.
he can make up the time. But obviously that wasn't working. It's a short lap. It was. They tried, but it wasn't gonna work, and it just sucks because it wasn't like they were there on a fluke. It was on merit. Like they were very quick this weekend.
That would have been like winning the Super Bowl for them, like getting
Oh
points.
yeah, I mean, imagine that. you
Yeah.
know,
Not only getting points, getting 7th, 8th.
for Williams.
For
too, on
Williams?
top of such a team that has such history. But hey,
They'll be back.
they've had
Yes. They'll be back.
we know Ruben, we know, we get it. Okay.
It just sucks because this is the second time, like in Sakir, he was running in the point, obviously in the points, and he had that pit stop issue, and now again, something that's not.
Always
even his
seems
fault.
to happen when he's running into same thing that happened when he crashed out under the safety car.
Oh yeah,
So I
I
mean,
think it happened in this track too, no?
no, it was.
No, that was Imola.
I think it was an Imola. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean that was his fault though.
That's fine, but he didn't get it. He didn't get the points.
Yeah, every time it seems like he's cursed, man.
He needs to be out of that team.
Okay. One driver we definitely have to, I guess, give him his flowers, as they say. Mando freaking Norris. This was fourth. He finished fourth place. He's still fourth in World Drivers' Championship. 7 of 8 finishes in the top 5. The dude is driving the crap out of the car.
Yeah, I mean, he's bringing it, and there's really no. I mean, what else is there to say? I think we just talked about it. We talk about him every week. His drive was almost, he was like alone on the track basically, because there was obviously the front pack, which is the Mercedes and the Red Bulls, are way ahead of him. He was way ahead of the midfield pack. So it was a lonely race for him, but solid fifth. Again, he likes to finish fifth. He's almost like a new Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Hulkenberg was driving for Renault. Yeah, I mean, he's super consistent. There's nothing else to say. I mean, wish he had a better car so he could fight at the top, but he's driving lights out. He's giving Ricciardo a run for his money. Ricciardo's another one which, after we thought that
He was back.
he was back, had just a horrible race. I think he did have some issues with the car, so it wasn't totally on him, but it was still a disappointing weekend overall, considering that he had a very good weekend last time out.
But it kind of looked like when the race started, it kind of looked like almost, maybe because already the team told him, hey, don't fight with this guy not to kill your tires. But it looked like Perez caught him sleeping because it's like pretty much he let him by almost.
Well, I mean,
But it goes back to even they said at the end of the I mean, even
it was
Lando
fun to
Norris
see
said
him fighting up there, obviously for the first few laps. But there's no point in wasting your tires, especially
because you don't have the pace.
yeah, because you're not going to be able to keep up with them. It just doesn't make
He
any
did say that.
sense.
He did say that at the end of the race.
Yeah, so there's no point in doing that. You're gonna spend your tires fighting people that are they're gonna be faster. That eventually they're gonna overtake you. Run your race, run it alone. Make sure you get a good points finish, especially when your teammate is not running that well. So,
Any lower than 5th place this coming race in Austria?
what do you mean?
Is he going to finish 6, 7, 8? He's got to be the hands-on, odds-on favorite to finish 5th.
He's got to be the favorite, but
It'll be a nice battle.
Who else looked good enough? He was so
Ferrari.
far ahead.
Ferrari, Leclerc.
Ferrari.
Charlie.
We left a bar, and Yhancy's like screaming through the street.
Screaming through the canyons of New York City,
He was-
repping. Charlie! He
overtook. He made it to 14th,
and then 13th,
13th, and then
and then 12th,
11th.
and then we were counting it down.
Who else kept saying that?
Yeah.
Okay, he's only 13.
Because I was listening, he started his
clapping.
way up the
Way!
field.
I'm gonna say
I'm
it's only
clapping because he made an overtake,
But not only you, people at
and
the bar too.
Wellington was mocking me like, "Yeah, 14th place." So I started mocking him back when he just started passing everybody.
Hey, well, it's 13 now.
Yeah, hey, 6th place.
My
Well,
partner over
was
here.
Yes, no, Sainz was 6th. He was 7th. So.
My partner over here a few weeks ago said that anything outside of first place for a Ferrari, it's like a funeral. So
No, Alonso said that.
you said it. You repeated his quote.
Yeah, but it's true.
And we always say, a Ferrari that's not winning, it's not a Ferrari.
However, we definitely got to talk about this. Their pace this race in Austria was unreal compared to the rest of the pack. You guys mentioned Charles Leclerc finished 7th, Carlos Sainz finished 6th, and it was like no competition to get there.
Yeah, they switched it around. I don't know what they did because if you notice the previous races, they were really good in qualifying and they struggled in the race.
Yeah.
This time they struggled in qualifying, so I guess they
Made of the paces.
Yeah, they switched something on the balance of the car to the point where they can handle the tire degradation better. Even though on this track the tire degradation is not, but they managed it a lot better. And even though, obviously Sainz was like the signs of old, like he was in McLaren. Consistent, running his race, doing what he had to do. Charles had an incident in the first lap with Pierre Gasly, which caused Gasly to retire because of the puncture. Even though, it was an admirable effort by Gasly to try to get that car back into the pits. I don't know how he was able to do it. It was almost Alonso-esque in Baku. However, Charles kept running, even though they had to change his front wing.
He went right to the pits.
Yeah, but once he got on the mediums and after his third pit stop, he even said that was one of probably his best race ever in F1. It was, I think, considering that, I think we could all agree that this race wasn't the most fun race.
No. Snooze fest.
Yeah, the fact, it made it a little bit better that we saw Charlie coming up the field. It's always fun to see any car that has a bad start charging up the field, and I enjoyed it, but I believe everybody else enjoyed it too.
Their car settled this weekend, and the strategies they chose, for example, the way Ferrari reacted to his broken wind changing right away and going the hards, he went all out after that.
Yeah,
For example, even Sainz went on mediums all the way to lap 41.
Mm-hmm.
He's been so good at saving his tires, by the way, Carlos Sainz. You got to watch out for that. He's been really good.
I think that as a whole, the Ferrari driver pairing has probably been the most consistent and the most solid. Despite the results, they've been the most solid this season.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
well-deserved driver of the day for Charles Leclerc.
Yes,
well-deserved. Anything else to mention for this race? Everybody else was kind of like in no man's land. The Aston Martins, Lance Stroll, sometimes he's so maddening because he's so inconsistent. And this is exactly what we talked about last year, that he is just Mr. Inconsistent.
You just see the glimpse of how good he can be, but it's just not there all the time. And we say it all the time. Like, in order for you to be a good driver, you have to be consistent. Yeah. And we see it in other young drivers. We see it in Gasly. We see it in Leclerc. We see it in Sainz. But then you flip the coin and you have a Stroll, you have an Ocon. These are good drivers that have glimpses of greatness that you say, all right, this guy can, I wouldn't say go out and be a world champion, but he can, it could be a solid foundation for a team and score points and things like that. But then they have races where they're just nowhere, and that's not
that
going
can
to get you
happen.
anywhere.
You have to
that
be
can't
consistent.
happen. The reason why, let's say, a Sergio Perez gets a seat at Red Bull is because he was consistent
All the time.
all throughout his career in the midfield, and that's the only way you make it to a top team. So you have to be that way, and obviously, I mean, Ocon, I saw that he was consistent when he was with Force India before he took his break.
Mm-hmm.
He's been off and on ever since he came back. Stroll has been like that his whole career. So, and it's, I don't know, man. It sucks because you see the potential, but he's just not all there. So, but, I mean, he's not going to lose the seat.
So, I got to stop this podcast right now, because we just spent a long time talking about Carlos Sainz. I did not hear one single drop.
My bad.
Thank you. I feel a little better.
Ruben is like the race director. Never
falling asleep
never
at the wheel.
shows
Yo, how about the race
Carlos
director
Sainz.
showing us that shot above the trees, like focused on the trees with the track in the background all blurry? I was like, dude, get out of here with this
back to
artistic
racing.
crap.
I found it beautiful.
Get out of here.
Go back to racing. Do that before the race starts or something.
One last team that I wanted to mention was, and they looked great in qualifying and even in the practices, is the AlphaTauris. Better luck next time, Pierre Gasly.
I don't have a drop for them.
Yeah, but it should be Yuki Tsunoda cursing. That's what it
So
should
now
be.
you mention it when you don't have a drop for them, and you have a
and you
drop
have
and you
literally
don't.
the whole board
Like,
in front
come
of you.
on,
that I
bro.
painstakingly put
Like
together.
there's lights blinking in front of you, and you can't even press them, bro. I'll be all day. Gloop, gloop, gloop.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Tsunoda and Gasly both look great during the qualifying practices. Great compared to where they normally are. what do we? Well, maybe we'll. Actually, let's jump into this preview. What do we expect from the AlphaTauris going into the next race in Austria?
Well, we're there. I expect Gasly to be up there fighting with McLaren and Ferrari. Sonoda did have an excellent drive because he had a points finish. So it seems to me that he's calming down a little bit more, running his race.
Remember, he also had a grid penalty.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
he did. For slowing down Valtteri
Slowing down
Bottas.
Valtteri Bottas. So starting off on the back foot, he still managed to get the car into the points. So listen, that car has been quick all season.
Yeah.
If they can get both drivers on board, well, not on board. I mean, they're both on board. I'm saying they can get both drivers consistently in the points. They'll be able. I think that the constructors is obviously you have Red Bull and Mercedes at the top. Then you have McLaren and Ferrari
Yep.
that second group. But I think that if they can they can for that third group.
So they'll be
Like
best
the
of the
fight
rest.
best
for,
of the rest.
Yeah, like the fight for I guess fifth. I would say so.
So right now they are fifth at 46,
Mm-hmm.
and Aston Martin is sixth at 44. So they have a 2-point lead over their next closest competitor.
And I think that they're a way better team than Aston Martin. So I would expect them.
Aston Martin has way more money.
Yeah, but
And he's on a second team.
but I think that the AlphaTauri is quicker this year as far as like as a package as a car.
I think the AlphaTauri has been showing pace all year. Is the fact of actually bringing that pace to the actual race.
They've just had a lot of bad luck between their drivers.
Sonoda has not helped.
Mm-hmm.
When Gasly has a bad beginning, unfortunately he doesn't finish, or he just drops back.
Right.
This week was just very unfortunate. They had an awesome pace, and he was already there on the battle because look, he was already in the mix, even though he went out on lap 1 or whatever. But come on, he started the race defending his position.
Right.
Okay, so let's really talk about this upcoming race to preview the Austrian Grand Prix. What do we expect at the top? Obviously, Red Bull, Mercedes. I think that finishing it out, I think we're going to have kind of the same qualifying, right? I think that finishing it out, it'll be Max, Ham, Perez this time.
Mm-hmm.
You guys agree or disagree?
I'm with you on that.
Max, Ham, Perez.
In that order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to... So what they've been doing with Perez is they've been doing like the freaking knuckleball strategy versus like with Max, they're like, okay, this is our fastest strategy. This is what we're doing. With Perez, they've been playing like defense, right? They've been throwing, that's like the off-speed pitch with them to kind of keep Mercedes honest.
Right.
That's why he won't beat Hamilton. Hamilton is still Hamilton,
Yeah.
So Max is,
Max is the
throw the
fastball
ball
down the
deep.
middle.
Throw the ball deep in football terms, and then you have
How did we get from baseball to football, man?
because then you have
Max
you
is a four-seamer.
you got to make sure that the pass offense is open, so you got to run it every once
Right,
in
and
a
if it's a
while,
power play, then it's no.
I'm just trying to talk in your terms, bro. That's why you got to throw Perez at
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. And then
Imagine Perez
the
as a
pick or
running
roll.
back.
So we agree on the top, right? And then
Yeah.
Bottas, obviously, fourth is our prediction, and then
Mando.
Mando, right? Hopefully it rains. I just feel like we saw the pace of the cars this past, yesterday, and it's just gonna kind of hold true again. Like there wasn't any real. The only curveball that I could see coming our way is Charles Leclerc not having a bad start and being able to show true pace and stay up with Lando Norris, who they've shown that they have been like neck and neck at times in races.
And that might also change
also
the
remember-
narrative on the race because we're not going to be falling asleep. At least these guys that have every time they face each other in the track, they've always done clean racing with each other. You
That was
pass me,
another
I
thing. At
pass
the
you.
bar, they didn't have the coffee like right on time. It was just that experience.
Remember that we're using softer compounds. So
this will be what, a C9, C10? I don't know. I'm still wondering if it's vitamin C or something. What vitamin they're gonna give us this weekend?
they're using softer compounds. So a Red Bull is better on the softer compounds. Ferrari so far this season have not been very good at tire management, so that car could degrade the tires more. Maybe McLaren is a little bit better, so you got to look out for that.
And come on, Ricardo, wake up.
Ricardo needs to wake up, but we don't know where he's going to be at. But you have to throw in the curveball that Gasly's going to be in the mix too.
Yeah, he will.
So, yeah, there's still a lot to look out
Yeah,
for.
and we've seen it.
We don't know
Lando and
if
Gasly against each other. We've seen it.
We don't know what the
What
weather
is this idiot doing?
Yeah.
We don't know what the weather's going to look like. We'll see. I mean, every race is different.
Somebody get Bernie
And
back.
we've seen,
Turn on the sprinklers.
I'll tell you what, last year, this is the same thing that we were afraid of last year when we started, because this was the first time that we were gonna have races back to back in the same venues. But what happened actually was that the races were very different.
What happened was
Not the same winner in both races. So we might get something interesting this weekend. It might be a better race than this one, because honestly, there was this race doesn't seem like it was boring, but it was boring. But there was more to talk about.
No, it seemed boring.
Well, I mean, but there's still a lot coming out of it, so a lot of things going on. Charlie moving up through the field.
Guys, anything?
Red Bull very dominant,
Yeah.
which we didn't expect.
Red Bull ring.
Mercedes has to make a big leap to go to the top on this upcoming race.
Yeah. Do you think Mercedes is in trouble?
No,
No.
I don't think so. It's a long season.
It's
It's
Mercedes-
one double
Mercedes
DNF away.
season over, or Mercedes career over.
I don't know.
Where do you see the battle of McLaren and Ferrari going?
So that
Ferrari
was
better
one
watch
thing
out.
That did not talk about. Where I see the battle going is Ferrari's gonna get past them. Ferrari's gonna beat them, is my opinion, and the reason for that is Daniel Ricciardo needs to get his head out of his butt. If something happens to Lando Norris, say it was Lando Norris that got the puncture, now where are they?
Yeah.
He almost scored as many points as the Ferrari cars combined. Right? It was the Ferrari cars outscored him by 4 points.
I think that's what's going to make it or break it for the best of the rest.
Do you have faith that Ricciardo can come back?
I do. Okay. Are you praying?
I do, because I think that there are some tracks coming up towards the back half of the season that he has historically done well on. So we'll see. We'll see. He has to get it together.
Doesn't seem like because obviously, listen, he was good at Monaco and he was horrible at that race.
That's a good point.
So I don't know, man.
He won Baku and he was hard.
What we
horrible
know
that
about
race.
Ricardo is that when he switches team, the one time that we've seen him switch a team, which was when he went to Red Bull. Renault. Is that he struggled at first, but then came on at the end of the season. So, listen, we're only 8 races in? I keep saying 7. I don't know why. We're 8 races in. We're still not halfway through the season yet. I think he'll be back.
I think so too. I hope
And he
that they need him.
seems. What's good about Ricardo is, for example, you've seen when drivers are down. So Alex Albon, when he was down, when he was with Red Bull, it seemed like that carried over onto his drives. Same thing with Gasly when he was with Red Bull. The confidence for Ricardo, when you see him, obviously he's upset that he's not doing well, but it looks like he still has that confidence in him. When he drives well, he's happy. He's always, happy-go-lucky, and he's looking to improve. And I think that when you're not performing well, and you can keep your confidence up, it bodes well for you in the future. Eventually, you're going to turn around. Now, if your confidence goes down, as we've seen with Bottas too, when he doesn't drive well, he seems to get into a slump. And we've seen that with many drivers on the grid. And I don't see Ricardo falling into that same trap. So that's the reason why I am bullish on Ricardo.
Okay.
You better.
What I know is that of 120 constructor points, Lando Norris has 86 of them. All right. Anything else, boys, before we wrap it up?
No.
Okay. Guys, you
So
can
we're not
find
gonna
us
do history.
on...
We're not going to do trivia.
No.
Wah, wah, wah.
You can find us on many
I got trivia questions.
podcast
He was so mean.
platforms.
Yeah, you saw it, right? It was harsh.
Yeah, that
got
was
trivia
mean.
questions.
Let's do some trivia real quick.
It's got to be quick.
Go ahead. Okay, I can start now?
Yeah, go ahead. We don't have the buzzers, but
How many times has Rebel won the home race?
3.
What
And
else?
you're right on that one.
What's the next one? Okay.
I knew that was coming.
What's the next one?
I don't know. It's just since it's the same track, same history throughout, whatever. So let's do another tussle one. In 2016, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg made contact on the last lap. Who went to win the race?
2016, you said?
Yes.
That was Rosberg, that one.
Nope.
No?
20.
Oh, they made contact. Last lap. Damn it, it wasn't going to be any of them. That was a stupid answer.
Was
Why
was
why
it?
you helping him?
No, was it Vettel?
No.
It was actually Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Oh,
Hamilton
really?
won. Yeah. And Rosberg finished 4th from wind damage.
Okay. Any other?
So does this count towards the point tally?
I mean, I guess.
No, it doesn't. Come on.
Name the team who had a double retirement in 2018 Austrian GP. And prior to that, it was like 2 years without having like a double retirement.
Double retirement?
That was Mercedes.
You got it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Bottas went out with a gearbox and Hamilton went out with a power unit.
Yeah.
And that was the day that both Hamilton was going like, oh, we have no power. We have been struggling so much.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. All right.
Got another one. What are you trying to cut me off here, man?
Jesus, dude, but you said you had nothing.
Well, you guys put me to work. I was in silence here for like half hour looking for something.
You were in silence because you're
Oh, my bad. Because I was tired.
Ruben in silence.
Name the only Austrian-born driver to win his home race.
To win his home race.
Mm-hmm.
Nicky Lauda?
That was the year he won his last championship, and he also had 3 pole positions at the Austrian GP.
3 pole positions?
Yeah, like he prior, not Austrian, but I say Austrian because the other names I can't pronounce. Austrian, Russian, Russia. What happened?
What else you got?
No, I just got like a quick race fact since we're not doing history.
He's so upset. He's so upset.
I'm not
We
upset.
talked
He's
about this
like,
before.
yo,
I know. And
I'm
just,
getting into this
He
now.
said, "Yo, we're not
No, I
doing
know,
the
but-
race history or the trivia, right?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Because
Holy
he
crap.
said he had nothing
'cause he-
prepared. He had like a whole book.
No, it was just like a quick. When I was looking for some of these questions earlier, it was a gentleman named Stefan Johansson.
Yes.
He suffered one of the weirdest or the strangest F1 accidents in '87 during practice. He actually hit a deer.
What?
Yeah,
It's like driving on a Taconic.
yeah, similar. And he suffered a couple of broken ribs when he barely was able to compete in the race. He was able also to compete in the race the next, with a couple of broken
Hit a
ribs.
deer?
Yeah,
Damn. Because that's like one. I remember Grosjean
1987.
hitting a groundhog in Canada,
Yes.
but a deer. That car must have been destroyed.
And the deer must have been
Well, yeah,
destroyed.
the deer must have been.
he was
like,
very lucky to have only suffered a few broken ribs.
Yeah,
I
and
probably would have died with just one.
yeah.
Suffered a few.
and the deer disintegrated.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay, it's hot. We gotta get out of here.
Oh, that's
You
why
can
he
find
wants
us.
to get out here.
You can find us on many podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google
we good?
Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Also at Jump to Start F1 on Twitter and at Jump to Start F1 on Instagram.
You do that so well, Wells.
Yep.
Anything else, boys?
That's it.
Thank you very much.
See you guys later.